Hey everybody, welcome to episode 54 of Mulligans and Hackers podcast. I'm Alvin.
And I'm Chris.
So we just thought we'd drop on and drop this episode, give you a little update of where we are and what's coming up.
Yeah.
So last weekend we played Connaught.
Yeah.
Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, and then Desert Bloom on the Monday.
We played Desert Bloom on the Monday as a practice round in preparation for our Alberta Golf Tour event that's coming up at Desert Bloom in
6 days.
6 days.
Yeah.
Probably 5 days as this podcast comes out.
Yeah, it's June 2nd. So I mean, however many days from
the Saturday
it is when you're listening to this, it's June 2nd.
The Saturday coming up, we'll be at Desert Bloom playing in our debut on the Alberta Golf Tour.
Yeah, man, I can't wait. It's popping.
The 2 rounds that we played at Connaught weren't spectacular, but
they're okay.
For you, they were okay.
Yeah.
I shot 96 both rounds.
I shot 87, 89.
That sounds about right.
And that's a par 73.
Par 73.
So yeah. I think I was 14, 16 or something like that. Maybe I was over. I could have been over it.
And we walked it both days, and that course is not set up for walkers at all.
No, too long between the tee boxes.
I mean,
right?
you got to walk forever between tee boxes. From green to tee box, it's outrageous.
And
the amount of distance.
And if you can putt there, I would just like to say you can putt anywhere, because those greens are the most ridiculous greens.
Slope?
Oh, like half of them are like sloped backwards like a fucking ramp. I don't understand how. Like, I used to think that Cottonwood was bad, and we go there, and I'm like, yeah, Cottonwood's greens are fine. Like, we're literally sloped backwards, some of them. Like, you would have to...
It's a different animal.
It's just tough to get around the greens to actually score on certain holes. I mean, it's a different course. It's part of our dual membership, so it allowed us 2 rounds there, right, to get out there and play. And it was good. It just allowed us to swing the sticks, right?
Yeah, and I've been struggling with my approaches. We'll talk about that in a little bit. The block I have going from the range and hitting it well on the range to not hitting it well on the course. But then that Monday, we played our first prep round at Desert Bloom.
Yes, yeah, and it was true Desert Bloom conditions on a Monday afternoon. That
rainy
and windy. And I mean, for those of you guys that have never played Desert Bloom or seen Desert Bloom, it's a linksy style course. It's very open, zero trees. It's in a coulee, and it has a ton of wind when it gets going in there, and there is nowhere to hide from the elements. And the greens are the fastest in the city. They're probably the closest thing to pro greens that we play, and they're pretty quick by our standards.
It wasn't a great round, and I wasn't really mentally in a frame to go play in those type of conditions, and I did not play well. I shot 51 on the front, and I think I threw my scorecard in the cart, and I wasn't keeping track for the back 9.
No, you just went into practice mode.
And I did go into practice mode, and this is where the block came in. So on the second 9 at Desert Bloom, I was hitting my driver okay, as I always do, off the tee box.
Yep.
But I didn't have any approaches, so I made the conscious effort on the back 9 of Desert Bloom in trying to work through this block of finishing my iron swings with my hands high, and not just focusing on my contact, but focusing on finishing my swing. And I kind of found something in that back 9 that I could build on.
Yeah.
And it was there. It was conscious. I was finishing high with my hands, and I started to see that the type of shots that I do on the range, I get my yardage, I get my dispersion in a really small cone pattern that I can manage. And I was like, okay, well, at least I got something out of this round. So we went to play on Thursday.
Yeah.
And you may have seen on our socials, Thursday got washed out because we had a thunderstorm, hail, rain, localized flooding in our areas.
Good old Medicine Hat instant thunderstorm.
Yeah, instant thunderstorm. You were in the clubhouse at the time. I was actually in the parking lot in the van.
I was actually on the range when it started because I'm like, fuck that shit. I'm going to go get some swings in. And I hit about 4 balls before he brought the horn out. So we didn't get to play on Thursday, which kind of sucked. And if we go back to if we go back to Desert Bloom, I mean, Alvin didn't have a great round, but I played the best I've ever played out there. I was even par through the first 5. I think I shot 12 over through the round. So like an 84, which for me is outstanding.
This is par 72, right?
Yeah, par 72. I shot an 84. And the one shot that really sticks out in my mind is on 17. I hit my tee shot into the bunker. And I mean, bunker is kind of hit or miss most of the time for us guys. And I've been trying to work a little bit on my bunker game, and I had kind of a downhill lie at the right side of the bunker, and I hit probably the best bunker shot I've ever hit, and it checked up basically right beside the pin and left me about I don't know, probably a 10-inch putt for par, which was a terrific save. So I mean, if that's a harbinger for what's to come at the AGT event, that'll be great, because that course it's a little bit more wide open than the courses that we play now. So you can get away with a little bit of spray here and there, but there's also holes where you have to be very tight and you can't get away. So it'll be interesting to see what our conditions are on Saturday, because it's a 1 o'clock shotgun start, or not shotgun, but 1 o'clock tee time starts. And I mean, if the weather is anything like it's been lately, it could be a real ugly day, and we're gonna have to find a way to battle through it.
Yeah, it could be beautiful, or we could be dodging thunderstorms. You never know.
Yeah, and I mean, like Alvin said, we went to play Thursday, didn't get to play.
I was kind of figured some stuff out on the second 9 at Desert Bloom.
Yep.
And I really wanted to go play Thursday, because I wanted to take that kind of what I kind of worked through, and I really wanted to play Thursday to continue working on that.
Yep.
And we didn't get to play.
Yes.
So then our next round was Saturday.
Well, we played Friday. So my dad and my dad and Josh were down. So we booked it. The plan was to play Medicine Hat Thursday, Redcliffe Friday, and then Medicine Hat again on Saturday. And so we went to Redcliffe on Friday, late afternoon, and we get there about an hour before our tee time. They don't have a driving range, but they have some hitting bays that you can hit into a net, whatever. So it's better than nothing. So we go out there to hit a pull ball. We pull up, and it's like, it's gonna start pouring rain here right away. So we kind of wandered inside, and then they blow the horn, and it starts coming down like crazy again. And I'm like, man, are we gonna get friggin' rained out 2 days in a row? Like, this is ridiculous. 15 minutes later, completely stops. Sunshine is out. We go out to the car, we get our clubs, blah blah blah. We check in, hit some balls, chip and putt. It was the nicest round, condition-wise, I have ever played at Redcliffe. And for those of you that don't know, we talk about Redcliffe once in a while. It is up on the top of a riverbank, and the wind howls there usually. It's above a coulee and a riverbank.
It's always a hurricane of wind at that course.
Like today I played it in my second round of the afternoon, and it was a hurricane out there. But that day on Friday afternoon was beautiful conditions. I said to my dad, I'm like, you'll never get better conditions to play out here. Like, this is a once a year kind of thing.
It is a strange type of thing when you go to Redcliffe and you say, yeah, there wasn't any wind, because it never happens.
100%.
So
that was a tough round for me. I started +6, started with a quad, like I didn't know how to chip, and then I had a double, and then by the time we got around to the end of the front 9, I was +10. So I had reined it back in over the next 8. I only went 4 over the next 8, and then on the back I went 3 over. And I finished at 13 over, which great round for me. That brings us to Medicine Hat on Saturday.
Which is our debut, or our season 4 debut on the Mulligans and Hackers Tour.
Correct. Now, event number 1.
Event number 1. Now, I hadn't played since my epiphany.
Correct.
On Monday.
Yes.
So I was really wanting to get out and try what I've kind of, because I went and hit some balls on the range before we went out, and I was hitting the ball really well. I'm like, today I have to transfer what I'm doing here on the range to the golf course. I have to do it.
Yep.
And it was in my head that, yes, just finish your swing, finish with your hands high on your iron shots, and see what happens. Mm-hmm. So you guys went out early in the morning. You guys went out early in the morning.
We had a 9:30 tee time, and I think you guys were like
118.
118 or something.
118 tee time.
So I went out with Dad, Josh, and Jake came down to join us, and then you went out with Dave and Clark.
Dave and Clark, yes.
Did anyone else play with you guys?
No,
just the three.
Just the three of us.
Nice. That doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, no, on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
Not often you get an open spot there, but that's nice.
Well, they let us go as a threesome, and so yeah, you guys went out in the morning.
Yeah, and there's some, and it was interesting because we hadn't played the hat since last week.
Yeah, right.
Like during the week on Thursday.
Yeah. So
was the last time we played.
It was over a week since we played there.
Or no, Friday.
Friday. Did we play Friday? I don't think so.
No, it was a Thursday.
Thursday, yeah. It was over a week that we hadn't played there.
Yeah, it was a Thursday. We were gonna play Friday, but you couldn't make it, and then I was gonna go, but but it was rainy as hell that day too, and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going.
All we talk about is how we're dealing with the rain here.
And it's supposed to be a drought year. Like, they're telling us it's going to be a drought, and we've had nothing but rain. It's crazy. Like,
all the time.
We were just talking about this today. I mean, you know, in years past, in April, at the beginning of April, the golf courses are opening up, and we're 2 months into our season already, usually. But we're here. We're barely struggling to get rounds in for the most part.
Well, you said you got about 20 in now?
Yeah, I think I'm at 20 or 21, which is
I'm
pretty
close
good.
to 20. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm close to 20.
But anyways, back to our first round. So we went out in the morning. The conditions were good. I mean, it was not overly windy. I mean, we've had a lot of wind this year that we've had to deal with. It's not overly windy, not overly warm, not overly cold. I mean, it's almost perfect conditions, really. And I mean, there's some interesting stuff going on the course right now because they're building some tee boxes on like
There's a little bit of construction going on, but
a little bit of chaos that you got to get around. It just adds to. We all know this is a difficult game as it is, but it just adds to the things you got to try and deal with, right? So yeah, it was. I don't know. We went out and we played the front, and I played. What did I shoot? I shot 7 over on the front. Dad was. I think Dad and Josh both shot 54s? Yeah, 54s or something like that. And Jake was somewhere in there too. I can't remember exactly what they were at. So everybody had a decent front nine. And then we make the turn on 10. I fucking go to tee up and I grab my 3-wood, which I don't usually grab there. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, I'll hit a 3-wood. Well, I proceed to top it right into the water. So then, which is straight in front of us, because on number 10 you have to tee off over a little pond. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm hitting 3. So that quickly turned into a multiple bogey hole. And the rest of my back was not much better. I think I had 1 birdie on the hardest par 3 on the course on the back. And the rest were all squares, double squares, or multiple squares. So, I mean, I finished with an 88, which is a plus 16, which isn't bad. But, and usually I'm below 2 putts a hole. I had fucking like 2.2. I lipped probably 6 putts. Like, when we're talking lipped, I'm talking like birdie par putts that lip and go like 7 to 10 feet away, and then add to like 2 to 3 putts.
Do you have any 3 putts on Saturday?
I had fucking 4, and I never have that many. Like the 3, I probably had. So I had 4 on Saturday. I probably had. So I played Friday, and I played Monday, Saturday, Sunday. In the last 4 rounds before that, I probably had the same amount total through 4 full rounds that I had yesterday. But it is what it is. That's how she goes.
So you finished with
I finished with an 88.
An 88 on Saturday.
And Dad had I think Dad had a 103. Jake was like a 106 or 107 or something, and Josh was like a 112 or 113.
You can check the stats on.
Yeah, well,
they're up.
Yeah, so they'll be on the board here probably. So
we went out later in the day.
Yeah, and you had great conditions to start.
Everything was fine off the first tee box, but again, it gets crazy as we go on here. So we start off on the front 9. Dave and Clark are playing their They're going around. They're playing their game, the game that they play.
Yep.
Well, I parred the first 5 holes.
Yeah, which is crazy.
So I was
Great
even
job.
par through 5.
And to preface that, Alvin was 1 under, I think, on
The Thursday before the last round we
a
played.
week ago, like
Because
this
we got-
past Thursday, a week ago.
Yeah, because we got rained out on that Thursday because I didn't play the last 2 holes because I went to the parking lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So we got rained out on that one as well.
No, you didn't play the last hole. You played you barely played the last one, I guess.
yeah,
But yeah. We more or less got rained out on that one.
So through the first 4 holes on that one, I was 1 under.
Yes.
So again, to preface that.
And I mean, for those that don't know, it's par 5, par 4, par 5 at that course.
And a very difficult par 3.
Correct, on the first 4
That's
holes.
number 4. So I parred the first 5 holes. I was going around quite
Nicely.
nicely. Everything was. If I didn't hit the green, I was chipping it close. I did make one par putt that was probably outside of the zone that I normally would make.
Yeah, but
to keep
that'll
the streak
happen.
going. So I finished the front at a 41.
6 over.
6 over. So again, through the last 4 holes, I shot 6 over.
Yeah, 6.
Yeah.
No, 5 over.
5 over.
Sorry, 5 over.
Yeah.
5
So
over.
the last 4 holes, I shot 5 over, which is, I have my moments of that type of golf, right? I can play 4 or 5 holes good. I usually play 4 or 5 holes shitty after that. But as we're walking up number 9, we're looking at the clubhouse as we're walking up the fairway on number 9, and the thunderstorm is right there. Like as we're teeing off, going up the fairway back towards the clubhouse. That thunder cloud is right over the clubhouse.
Well, it's funny.
And you can see the lightning in the clouds above the clubhouse, so we know it's coming.
Well, it's funny you say that because I was sitting while you were golfing. We were sitting at home, and we were sitting on the front lawn because my sister came to surprise us, and we were playing a little Sticky Pro chipping, and we looked up and we're like, "Oh shit, it is gonna friggin' pour."
So we literally get off. We finish putting on number 9. We're walking down to our carts, and the clubhouse speaker comes on and he says, "Guys, we're monitoring the storm. It looks like we're going to be blowing the horn here right away to get everybody off the course." So we were down by just kind of making the turn to go down to number 10, and we stopped. And Clark went up to the clubhouse to check in, and he came out and just waved us up. He's like, "Guys, they're blowing the horn right away, so let's just get off before, we won't tee off on number 10 because they're blowing the horn anyway."
Yeah.
So we went up to the clubhouse, and we were in the clubhouse for an hour, sitting in the clubhouse waiting for the storm to pass. Because they're like, "Guys, the storm is going to pass in half an hour, 45 minutes. Then we'll get you guys back out on the course. Depending on how much rain we get, we might not have carts, and you might have to walk the next 9. So we're like, okay. And Clark was Clark was in a cart.
Oh, was he?
He was in a cart.
Okay.
Because he had played the day before, and Clark is a tall guy. He's back issues.
You and Dave walked?
Me and Dave walked. And so we're in the clubhouse. We got a little snack, bite to eat. I mean, Clark had a full-blown meal before we went on number 10.
He's got a big metabolism.
He was going to be in a carb trouble on the back 9. But after an hour of waiting in the clubhouse, we get to go back out on number 10 and tee off again on number 10. And I had my moments on the back 9, but I managed to finish back 9 with a 44.
8 over.
It's 8 over.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
I finished around at 13 over. Chris finished around at 16 over. First M&H Mulligans and Hackers Tour event of the season. Alvinator gets the W.
So, not only did he shoot an 85, but that's by far his career best there.
That is the best at
and
Medicine Hat.
only the 3rd time ever that he's broken 90.
Yes, and I know what you're going to say, but this is another epiphany that came to me after Chris brought it up. So the epiphany is, I can't play golf with Chris.
It's true.
So all 3 times I've broken 90 this year, my career best 85,
87,
and
an 89.
And an 89. All 3 of those times that I've played those, Chris wasn't there.
It's true.
So his ginger juju doesn't work for me playing golf. So I think from now on, we won't play together in Mulligans and Hackers tour events. I think that ship has sailed now. I can only play really good golf when he's not around, And
It's gonna be tough to do when there's only 4 of us.
we'll send you up by yourself. But it's true. I broke 93 times this year with a career best 85, and Chris wasn't around to see any of them. And
Yeah.
we went out and played today, and again I shot a
95.
a 95. It was just atrocious.
Well, you had no pars though.
So I birdied number 3.
Yeah.
I birdied number 3, the par 5.
Yeah.
Every other score on the card was either single square or double squares, and 1 birdie the entire day. I had a couple looks at pars, but it wasn't going to happen. So it was a rough day, and I was starting to get frustrated. But again, it was just the 2 of us today, and the pace of play is different on weekends.
Yeah, well, and today the pace of play was pretty slower than what we're used to lately. And when there's only 2 of you, you don't have other guys that you're waiting for shots for, right? And we were a group
just to
of
keep
2
that pace of play space
between a group 3 and 3 behind us, right?
So the pace of play was different, which didn't help when you're not playing well, because you can't stop. You're always kind of trying to move forward, and the back 9 kind of got away from me a little bit. But even playing that poorly that I played today, I still broke 100. Still shot 95.
you can break 100 in your sleep now. So, a couple years ago, it was your goal to break 100 there.
You're right. So we even used to talk about it. Alvin's going to Medicine Hat. It's break 100 day, right?
Yeah.
And I think back then I only did it once.
Yeah, it didn't happen very often.
I think it was like 97 or 98 or something.
Yeah, but now a really bad day for you is a mid-90s round. So
I'll take it.
It's unlikely that you're going to play a lot of rounds where you don't have pars, right? So in order to break 90, which is 18 over, and where we're at with our handicaps around, well, you're slightly higher than me, around just over 15, and I'm just under 14. But a bad round for us is basically bogey golf.
Yeah.
Right? We should be able to break 90, even if we play a tough round. I think my best this year out at Medicine Hat is an 86 or an 87. I think that's the best I've shot this year. But it's not. Again, I don't feel that. I said earlier, after we played a few rounds this year, I'm like, I have without a doubt one or both of us is going to break 80 this year. I can just see it. There's a pathway to it for sure. It would shock me if one or both of us didn't do it, because it's just a matter of staying out of trouble, right? For you, your game is very this course plays very well into your game, because if you're in the fairway, you're not in trouble. You have a really good opportunity to get on the green and to putt. And now that you're putting well, and I think you're under 2 putts a hole, which is you found a putter you like and that works for you. That's going to help you.
So even playing not well today and playing really well yesterday.
Yeah.
So in those 36 holes, I have 1 3-putt, and that was today.
Yeah.
And that was on the back 9. So I played all yesterday without a 3-putt.
Yeah, and that didn't surprise me. When I seen your score, I'm like, you had to putt well. You had to do everything well to shoot that, right? And for me, I knew when I locked in at it, when I knocked the 88 in, I'm like, wow. I was like, it's going to be good enough for top 2. I was like, but it's definitely beatable. And especially with some of the putts that I lipped, I did not putt well yesterday. I had a rough day putting, and it was just, I wasn't locked in on that side. Plus, I was on call this weekend, so my mind is not always engaged when I'm on call, because I'm worried about getting called away to go do stuff, and sometimes that can creep into my game. But I'm not at all surprised that you came out and you played a really good round. I just like to one day see you break 90. It just seems to happen an awful lot when I'm not there.
Yeah, well, it's your terrible ginger juju.
But yet, here's the thing. So I can play with you, and I've shot my career best before. I shot +3. I caught one twice with you.
That's because my aura gives you confidence. My aura just reeks of play well. Your aura reeks of I want you to suck. That's where we are. That's where your juju comes in as a ginger, and it's palpable. I can tangibly touch it. Your juju. No,
I only like that when you start making bad shots. I'm like, yeah, just make another one. It's fine. I wouldn't say that out loud to you on a tournament day, but I'm definitely thinking it.
But you know what? I don't care what you say, and I don't care what you talk about the score. I got the W.
Oh yeah, you played
and
great.
I really, really wanted that W.
100%. And I mean, with the shortened season, with the shortened schedule, I think we only have 9 or 10 events this year. Points are at an absolute premium. Like, wins are huge. Because wins give you 1,000 points, and the major will give you double that. So I mean, if you win the major, you're in real good shape. Yeah. And then if you can win the tour championship, which is worth triple points, you're in real big shape.
Well, again, I don't think I got too many wins last year.
You had 3.
Was it 3?
2 or 3, and I think Clark had.
We need to go back and check and see who's got. See what our wins record is on this, because I can't even remember anymore.
Oh, mine's a lot.
Yeah, well, again, you're our tiger, so.
Yeah, I won like half of them the first year, and like the second year, you guys got to win them all because I was injured. There, yeah. And then I did pick up a couple W's towards the end of the season that year, but that's okay.
Yeah, that kind of balanced out the field a little bit.
And then last year I want to say I won 7 or 8. So I mean, but again, no, those are. It's just the evolution of our game, right? Like you and my game and your game have really evolved. We were talking about this today, right? Like we're pumped for the Alberta Golf Tour, and like I was telling you about my Redcliffe round, and I was talking to my dad the other night when I played that, and I go quad double, and I'm 6 over through 2 holes, and I'm like, a year ago I would have been like, great, my round's over, but then I go out there and I'm like, whatever, I can still make a bunch of pars. I just I gotta find a way back to bogey golf to start with, and then we can work from there. And that's essentially by hole 10, I was back to bogey golf, right? It took me 10 holes, but I got back there, and then I played well. A year ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. That would have been a plus 20, plus 24, plus 25 round, right? And the same thing happened with you on Saturday. You had to run a double bogeys, where 3 or whatever I think it was 3 in a row.
3 in a row on the back. Yeah.
And oftentimes that would get away from us. Yeah. But you were able to rein that back in and keep it in check, right?
And because hole 16 is the par 5, 17 is the par 5?
16.
16 is the par 5 on the back, and I birdied this.
No, 17. You're right, 17, sorry.
So I had 3 double bogeys in a row on Saturday. And then I birdied the par 5.
Yeah.
Which really, again, changed that mindset. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's fine. You can do this now, right?
Yeah, you had 1 birdie yesterday and shot an 85. I had 2 birdies and shot an 88.
Yeah.
That's how bad I played.
So, but there we are. That's us caught up to where we are, and so.
Yeah, we're 3 weeks, I think, away from our next event. Okay. Because they're spaced out pretty good.
Yeah.
So we're 3 weeks away from that. This coming Friday, June the 1st, we have a practice round at Desert Bloom. Jacob from our tour will also be joining us the event on Saturday. I don't know if he's going to make it down in time for the practice round on Friday, but he has never played Desert Bloom. So it'd be nice if he could come down. He's going to let me know tomorrow or the next day and join us in our practice round out there. And then we'll have 3 guys out there
representing the Mulligans and Hackers Tour on the Alberta Golf Tour.
Yeah, so the crazy part is right now, Alvin and Jacob would be in Flight D, and I would be in Flight C because my handicap is just slightly good enough or better enough to be 1 flight above. So those 2 would be competing against each other in net score, and I would be playing in the Flight C, which is gross score. So I think there's like a 3-stroke difference between the top and the bottom. So then you just play gross. So it'll be interesting because our practice round on Friday will determine what flight I'm in once I input it in my Golf Canada app.
I'm stoked. As much as going out and playing our debut tour event on the Alberta Golf Tour, the experience of going and playing an amateur tour event is got my head all wrapped up.
It's crazy. Like if we were to go back 3-4 years or whatever it is now, because it's our 4th full season, I think. If we were to go back 3 full seasons backwards to when we first started and be like, hey, you guys, in 3 years, you guys are going to be playing on the Alberta Golf Tour and then playing an amateur event, you'd have been like, yeah, okay, because I can't even barely hit a golf ball, but sure.
But I think it was in season 2 when you were in the boot. It was the first time I saw this, and I'm like, this could be something for us down the road.
Yeah.
And that, I do remember seeing it in our socials going, God, Chris, this is something we should be doing. And I think Last year we kind of made that decision like, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
We are going to do this. And so in the off season, when we registered for the Alberta Golf Tour, we're only signed up to 2 events right now.
Yes,
but
Mickelson and Desert Bloom. But I mean, that doesn't mean that we might not play another one.
That's true. But I think if we get our feet wet this year with these couple of events, they just had their Ryder Cup style event.
Correct. Yeah.
You know, next year I would love to play more, because that's something, again, maybe 2 or 3 years down the road, that's something we're involved in.
Yeah, well, and I mean,
as things grow, right?
They do their Ryder Cup based on order of merit points, right? Like, that's how they name their captains. And then I think you have to have a certain number of points to qualify, and then the captains pick the teams. So, I mean, obviously you have to play a certain number of events to get in, it sounds like. But, I mean, like we were talking today, what's stopping us from playing more events as the season as the years go along, right? Getting into the majors, because they just had a 2-day major. I think it out at Cooper Canyon or something like that.
Yeah,
or Copper Canyon. And then, they have another major in the middle of the season, I think. And then they have their year-end 4-dayer in BC. Like, I mean, it'd be awesome. You basically, the 4-dayer, you could just take a week-long vacation and just go do your thing, man.
So, again, this is our 4th season playing from 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Now we're playing the Alberta Golf Tour.
Yeah.
To maybe in a couple of years we play a lot more of events and it opens up other opportunities, because I've been talking about the RBC Scramble for a few years.
Yes, and I mean, somebody else had brought that up to me a day or 2 ago, actually, and I'm talking about our handicaps and how it's how your team of 4 has to have a certain handicap total.
Really?
You have to have a minimum and a maximum amount that you can have. So it's set up so that you basically have as evenly matched teams as you can kind of get, right?
That's something that's been in my mind for a few years now, is that RBC Scramble, just to go do a qualifier.
Yeah, well, we have such a good scramble team, though, that it's like everybody's kind of...
It would be interesting to see how our 4-man scramble team, with you and me, and whoever the other 2 guys we bring in, because we've played scrambles in the past couple of years, and we've won some scrambles. We finished high because our scramble teams, when we put them together, are built to win.
Yeah, like, and our games complement each other.
Yeah,
you're that guy that just plugs it out there on the fairway, 240, 250, perfect.
Yeah,
lay it out there so the rest of us can just hammer away.
Yeah, and I mean, your approach shots are good, mine are hit and miss. And again, depending on who else is complementing this team, my job is just to hit the fairway.
Yeah, then there's no pressure on you after that.
Your job is to hit the green and putt.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
So whatever the other 2 guys do is just a bonus for us.
100%.
So
I mean, and usually we have another typically we have another bomber, which is usually Jake's usually been playing with us lately, and he's got a big bomb when he gets a hold of one. Clark can sometimes hit a big bomb when he's played with us, and he can be very accurate sometimes. And then, I mean, by the time we get on the green and when we're looking at, I usually anchor the putts, because it's like, if you give me 3 looks at it to confirm what I see or not confirm and say, oh no, there's a break there that you don't see, usually I can make just about any putt. I mean, when I'm on the practice green before my rounds, I always putt 5 balls. Like, I always just work with 5. Five's kind of my number. And so it's like the first 1 or 2, I got to get a feel for the pace and the line, and then the next 2 or 3 are like, okay, let's try and hit the pin now, right? And I think that's such a great strength of our teams. But we just work so well together because everybody just accepts their role.
But again, it would be interesting to see what a Mulligans and Hackers scramble team,
man,
how they would do in an RBC scramble event.
100%.
So that's pumped. That's in my head.
Where is the closest one? Pincher Creek? Oh, Lethbridge.
There's one in Lethbridge.
Yeah, Lethbridge wouldn't be bad. I heard there's one in Pincher Creek, I think, too, maybe.
Is there?
I thought so.
Yeah, there might be.
Then, I mean, speaking of scrambles, we're just waiting for the paperwork, but we are officially into the Halo Classic again.
That we'll do.
So,
we finished.
We won. Based on handicaps, we finished second.
Second.
We finished second. We lost by 0.8 of a stroke due to handicap. But we shot him 20 under.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, we were like 20 under. So if you just went strokes, the team that beat us was 6 under, a gross 6 under, and they were a net like minus 32, and we were a net minus 31.2 or something.
That's how those tournaments are set
It's
up.
crazy.
But we did finish in the top 2.
Yes, absolutely. We played well.
Again,
That's a fun tournament.
As a 4-man scramble. Again, just to see where that goes in a different type of event.
In a different pressure. Pressure, right?
And different people golfing.
Yep.
Like, you got some good people golfing in this RBC event.
Yep.
Because it is a PGA event.
That's right.
Right? So we could play in an amateur tour event, and we could actually participate in a PGA Tour event.
That's crazy.
A qualifier anyways.
Crazy.
Again, this is the stuff that's in our head that we really want to do. And again, as the years go by here and other opportunities open up for us, because there's some other things we want to do.
I'm really interested to see how we do on the AGT event at Desert Bloom. Like, I mean, I don't know how we're gonna do.
Again,
I think we could do really well, but how do we handle the pressure? How do we deal with? We're gonna be probably golfing with different people, I would imagine. It's gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna go play. Whether I play good or I don't play good
doesn't really matter.
It only matters to a certain extent because I'm really I want the experience of doing it.
Yep.
And I'll talk about that till I die. Like, this will be the first time we step onto an amateur tour to play. I just want the experience of walking into the registration tent, going through the whole motions. The flags are going to be there, and
it's going to be sick.
You're going to be called up to the
Get
first
all of
tee.
our gear.
Yeah, like the swag bag.
Yep.
I mean, that's going to be so cool, and that's what I'm looking forward to. So that's coming up.
Not gonna lie, I might have to go iron off the tee. Might have to go 6 iron off the tee just to keep the nerves down.
Just get your 210 out there and because even if you hit it 210 off that number 1, you can still approach it with a
wedge.
With a wedge.
So, a 9 iron at the worst.
Yeah. So, but that's it. We're up to date.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for the next episode 55. Because this is 54.
56, probably. I think we're going to release the second part of the Sucker Pin in between.
Exactly. Yeah. So the next episode will be part 2 of the Sucker Pin Society podcast that we did with Beard from Sucker Pin. That episode is going to be a little bit different because that's a hockey episode.
Yeah, we got chit-chatting a little bit about hockey.
It'll be our first Mulligans and Hackers podcast episode that starts off talking about hockey.
There is golf in there.
There's golf towards the end again.
Yep.
But we have an episode based on hockey because Beard brought it up, and we figured, you know what, let's do a hockey podcast.
Yeah, we're both big hockey fans. It was fun. It was fun to chat.
Let's do a hockey episode on a golf podcast.
Why not?
So stay tuned for that.
We just need the Odyssey Blade putter.
Yeah.
Happy Gilmore style.
Happy Gilmore style. Anyways, signing off. I'm Alvinator.
Later, guys.